When the sun goes down, it's time for bed. In bear country, lift the flaps and see how the bear family unwinds as they get ready for bed. There's no poem or anything, so I'm literally just reading the back of this book, which also doesn't exist in digital format. So I just have this flippity floppity copy of it on me. And anyway, enjoy Deep in Bear Country. Welcome back to Deep in Bear Country, a Berenstain Bearcast. I am your host, Phil Gonzalez, and this week we are taking a look at a Lift the Flap book that may very well be a book I've already covered. This is a getting ready for bed book. We just talked about this a few episodes back about how the Berenstain Bears tend to put out a getting ready for bed book every few years, and it's usually the same basic plot, which is the kids don't want to get ready for bed. Mama and Papa help the kids get ready for bed. They get ready for bed. Mama and Papa end up falling asleep before the kids do. However, in recent years, that plot has been given the old heave-ho, as we've seen it be turned into a story of Jacob's Ladder, I guess, is at one point. And because this is a later edition, I assume that the parents won't fall asleep before the kids do, because that seems to be a thing in the past. Now, you're probably asking yourself, oh, but Phil, don't you already know? Don't you read these stories ahead of the time? Usually I do. However, I wanted the discoveries in this book to be shown in real time, because it's a Lift the Flap book from 2019, and I wanted to discover what's behind them flaps. That sounds disgusting when I say it out loud. What's behind those flaps as you discover what's behind those flaps. If you're watching along on YouTube, you'll be able to see me discover what's behind the flaps in real time. That's exciting. I know, it's exciting. You'll also be able to see really weird reflections in my glasses that I hadn't noticed before, because I've got all kinds of weird lighting setups going on, because I had to jerry rig a whole lot of stuff to get this to work. I'm not good at having two cameras set up, but I have to, because this is a flippity flap, and I can't do, it only arrived in the mail today. So, or yesterday, maybe it was yesterday, but it was too late. That was why if you're listening to this the week it comes out, this episode is really late, because I had to wait until this book showed up. There's a bunch of other books that I could have done, but I want to have guests for those. So, this is a Lift the Flap. It's about getting ready. Let's dive in, shall we, to the Berenstain Bears Get Ready for Bed, a Lift the Flap book. There's no other thing. It's from Harper Festival. It's a Mike Berenstain Lift Flap joint from 2019. Let's go. But what's this, you say? What's this you see? A blank black square on your TV? Why, it is not just a blank black square, says I. It's a magical camera. Join me or die. I couldn't think of a rhyme. I accidentally rhymed the first part. I felt like I had to finish the second part, but I can't think of a way to rhyme it. So, it's a musical magical webcamery that I'm controlling with my hands, don't you see? Here we go. Join me now as we go into the void. The Noid. I don't know. In any case, here we're gonna watch the book now. Get ready, because here it comes. If you're not watching along, if you're just listening, you're gonna miss the magic. And if you're listening to this now and you're really annoyed that I keep mentioning watching along and you can't watch along, it's my show. It's what I do. Here we go. Doodly 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 doodly. Webcam magic. Let me just so as I said, I had to jerry rig this thing to work. So, the Berenstain Bears Get Ready for Bed, a Lift the Flap book. What's this book about, my friends, my fronds, my family? Let's find out. So it's evening in the treehouse. The bear families, the kids are playing hide and seek, I guess. Where are they playing hide and seek? Well, let's take a look around the room. From the toy chest and the toys spread about, we see a toy chest, we see blocks, we see Brothers Dinosaurs, we see a stuffed bunny, we see a racetrack, we see Sleezo's Cloud Castle. Yes, indeed, those space grizzlies are back, my friends. But we also see brother and sister's bunk beds, and we see Honey Bear's crib, which is weird, because as far as I know, Honey Bear's crib is not in the same room as brother and sister Bear's bedroom, but I guess they wanted, Mike's trying to consolidate some storyline. He's trying to economize the telling of the tale. He probably wants the kids to all go to bed together, which wouldn't happen happen if he kept the layout of the house the way it's supposed to be, Michael. What's going on in this picture? Brother Bear is it, and he's counting down. He says 5, 6, 7. He's on, he's counting down. I don't know how far he's. If you're watching along at home, I'm probably making you very motion sick because I'm controlling this. I'm using my hands to control this camera, and I am not a union camera person. Very sorry. So Brother Bear's counting down. 5, 6, 7. He says it right, but I can see from the way there's 3 dimensions on this page that one of the lift the flaps is the chair. There's a purple chair with a stuffed bunny in it. So the first flippity flap, here we go. You ready? We're gonna lift the flap and see what's behind it. I'm very excited. I'm bumping into everything on my I have a very limited amount of space on my desk. It's very limited through no fault of my own. It's a wreck. Like everything on my I don't have space for anything. I could make space probably, but that would take up even more time than I've taken up already. So I was gonna try to set this camera up in this little holder here, but I couldn't get it to fit and figure it out. So everything it's wonky doo, it's jinga jammed. I can't figure it out. In any case, doodly doodly, what's behind the chair? Let's find out. Oh, it's Sister Bear hiding behind the chair. Look at her there, Sister Bear. Smile on her face from here to there. It's Sister Bear, everyone's favorite sister. Because Honey's not your favorite. I know that for a fact. But this is not the only lippity flippity flappity doo in the page. Absolutely nut. This door, you may not be able to see, but the door is hinged, like factually hinged, which means that it probably opens left to right, which goes against the grain. But here we go. I'm gonna lift. Oh, we're opening up the closet door. Here it is, and oh, it's Honey Bear, and she's got a wicked grin on her face. Wicked grin on the face of old Honeybee Bear. She's hiding in the closet. This is not the Cubs' usual closet either. Usually their closet is full of organizational boxes, but this one is full of changes of clothes. There's a few boxes up tippity top, but also a laundry basket and the aforementioned Honey Bear hiding in there. I have never lifted these flaps before. So I am predicting some tough flap lifting because they don't want to lift and the pages don't want to turn. It's a lift the flap book, so the pages are a slightly heavier form of cardstock. So Mama and Papa show up at the bedroom to tell them it's late, it's getting late, it's time for bed. The bedroom door is of course a lift the flap. You open it up and there's Mama and Papa Bear. Not a big surprise. The story tells you right off that's what's at the door. They're huge though. If you can't see it, Mama and Papa Bear, their bulk fills the door. Mama and Papa, and they're crouching down as well. Like their knees are bent. They are already heads to the top of the door frame. I don't know who built this house. I do know who built this house. It was Papa Bear. I don't know who built this house, but they didn't do a good job of making the door frames big enough for the adults to fit inside. But it's time to clean up. Pick up your toys. But the Cubs are getting kind of sleepity sloppity. Not feeling up to picking up, but they got to do it. Mama and Papa Bear said so. So Sister and Honey gathering up handfuls of toys. Brother Bear picks up Sleezo's cloud castle. But they're feeling tired. Oh, is there another liftity flap? Is there a flippity doo? Let's find out. It's the toy box. What's in the toy box, my friends? I'm very excited to find out. Toys. There's one of the dinosaurs that we saw earlier. It looks like a Jack in the Box, looks like a soccer ball, a box lid. That's the thing. I had a toy box when I was a kid, like a hinged toy box when I was a kid. That was in my room. And I'll tell you right now, that just gradually became a repository of odds and ends. It became the place where you just threw things. It didn't matter what it was. And so Brother Bear just tossing in part of a box that goes to, it's like the bottom of a box, like the lower half of a board game box. Yeah, it's on the floor. You just throw it in the toy box, out of sight, out of mind. Atop their bookshelf, which I'm very pleased to see. I like to see. We see a trophy of a bear playing softball. We see what looks to be like a My Little Pony-esque pony, a unicorn. And on the door to the bedroom is a drawing of an airplane, a drawing of flowers. And outside the window, you can see that it is indeed nighttime. Time to go to bed. Time to pick up toys and go to bed, kids. And on the ground, we see some sort of multicolored glockenspiel, a triceratops Triceratops, and I'm turning the page. I've only have 2 hands. This is very difficult. Time to wash up, says Mama, leading them to the bathroom. So there's toy boats. They've got toys to play with in the tub. The cubs start taking off their clothes. Again, it's one of those weird things where they're animals, but they do wear clothes. But it looks like the tub is a lift the flap. So the tub is full. Wow, this is a stiff one. Like, this book is brand new. I've never lifted these flaps, so they're not even, the hinges don't even work. But underneath, so the tub is a lift, just the top of the tub though. Playing along at home, just the top of the tub is a lift the flap, not the whole tub. So the tub is full to the brim with water. Hey, Mama Bear, not gonna work out too well when those kids get in the tub, you know. Like, when the kids get in the tub, it's gonna overflow. Like, this tub is pretty full of water. It's full to the tippity top. But you lift it up, there's toy boats. We see a sailboat, we see a submarine, we see a pirate ship, we see a buoy, like a toy buoy. I'm impressed. There's a buoy under there. Again, I can barely lift the flap. It's stuck, it's stiff, it's not working out. The cubs are getting undressed. They like to blow bubbles, big pink bubbles. I don't know what that means. You don't blow bubbles in the tub. The tub, like, you can use bubble bath, but you don't blow bubbles in I don't understand it. Do they have bubbles? Well, let's find out, because the towel rack is also a lift the flap. We're gonna lift it up. $5 says it's Honey Bear blowing bubbles. Is that good? $5 says that Honey Bear blowing bubbles. Let's find out. Oh, I was totally right. It's Honey Bear blowing bubbles in her underwear, just like I do. Late at night, parents go to sleep, or not my parents, my family goes to sleep. Alana's in bed, Mitzi's in bed, Willow's probably in bed. I don't know, she doesn't live in this house. Willow goes to bed. I sneak downstairs in my underpants and start blowing bubble. It's fun to do. Next page. Oh, it's getting late. Oh, wait, no, sorry, that's Mama Bear. It's getting late, Mama Bear says. It's getting late. Time for your pajamas, says Papa. Okay, so they didn't have their pajamas in the bathroom with them. That makes sense. You don't want them to get wet. You don't want it to be I guess they bathed. Did I miss a page? Nope. Like, I guess the bathing occurred. So Mama and Papa are like, time to put on your PJs. I know a clock rhyme, says Sister. Great, we didn't ask, but I know a clock rhyme, says Sister. Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock, she says. It's 8:30, by the way. Way too late for Honey Bear, probably. Like, she's a kindergartner at this point. She should probably already be settled in. I'm not gonna complain too much, though. I'm bad at getting my kids to go to bed. So Papa's like, oh, time to put on your PJs. So we're heading to brother and sister's room. Oh, and it says, and Honey too. Wait, she can't possibly be in kindergarten in this continuity yet. I mean, we've seen her go to kindergarten, but it doesn't make any sense that she'd still be in a crib. Like, she wouldn't be in a crib if she was in kindergarten, right? Like, that's not how that works. I don't know. It's been a while since my kids transitioned to kindergarten, but I don't think that's how it works. In any case, brother and sister's room and Honey too. Let's open the flap and see what's inside. We already know what's inside. We started the story in their room. Oh, I see. Their PJs are laid out on the bunk bed. That's nice. They laid out Honey Bear's clothes on the bunk bed too, even though it's not her bed, but that's fine, I guess. Like, we'll let that pass. Economy of storytelling, I guess. I'm not cool though with Honey moving into their room. She has her own room, doesn't she? Or it was her crib in Mama and Papa's room. Maybe that's what it was. Am I remembering this incorrectly? Maybe that's what it was. Her crib was in their room. I don't know, Papa. Couldn't you build an annex onto the kid's room's pretty small already? I don't know. In any case, they moved Honey Bear into the room. Tick tock, hickory dock. The mouse ran up. The flippin' clock. Oh, what's inside? So there's a grandfather clock in the hall. Open up the grandfather clock. It's a flippity flop, and there's a mouse in the clock, which I guess is a thing. Like, hickory dickory dock. The mouse ran up the clock. Like, that's a children's rhyme, okay? That's like a children's rhyme that exists because why does that? Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock is a rhyme because it's a rhyme. Like, it's a rhyme because I was going to say because clock rhymes with dock, but dock isn't a thing. I don't know who wrote it. I could look it up right now, but that would require me to, like, move this book and type hickory dickory dock into my keyboard, and I'm not messing with this. Stuff is set up. If I start typing, I'm afraid of what will happen with this mess that I have here. So we're just gonna keep going. Turn the page, and story time, says brother. He wants Space Grizzlies to be read. Sister wants Berry Tales. Sister and Honey want Berry Tales. But if you open up the Space Grizzlies, this is not the first time we've opened up a Space Grizzlies book, right? This happened with the library. Like, didn't we read a book where there was a lift the flap and one of them was space, or am I thinking of the Bible? In any case, and there's Space Grizzlies in that Space Grizzly book. It's pretty cool. We see Migo the Magnificent, or whatever his name was, and Sleezo's Cloud Castle in the background. You open up Berry Tales, though. Oh, it's Red Riding Bear. There she is, being stalked by that wolf. What you gonna do? I don't know. That's I think we've read the bear version of Red Riding Hood in the past, so a little callback, I guess. Berry Tale. So I assume that in their world, fairies are called berries. Is that? Am I picking up what they're putting down? Is that correct? So Papa's reading the Space Grizzly book, and then the line is, "Halt, evil Dr. Sleezo! Go back to your evil planet Grizzlon!" Which, you know what? And a whole planet's not evil. Don't blame the residents. Don't blame the citizens for what the government's doing. Obviously, they are in a bad situation. They're in an area. The citizens live in a place that is being controlled by a terroristic government. It's not an evil planet, though. Just because your nation, your planet is run by a terrorist, doesn't mean that all the citizens are evil. Also doesn't mean that the planet doesn't have a right to exist. Just saying. Also doesn't mean that. Never mind. In any case, that's pretty cool, though. We don't get to see Sleezo, Dr. Sleezo, with eyes very often, but there he is. And looks like Hero is there. I guess that's Hero. That's what his name was in the original version. And Papa's like, you know what? I'm going to read both the books to you. So it reads, "Curses!" cried Grizzly Stiltskin as he flew into a fury and disappeared in a puff of smoke, which is what we know happens to Grizzly Stiltskin. We covered that book in the Berenstain Bears Get stage fright, I think. And there he is, disappearing. And there's the princess and the firstborn, and there goes Grizzly Stiltskin disappearing in a puff of smoke. Now the cubs are ready for bed. Sister gets her teddy bear. Good night, dears. Wait, what about our good night kisses, say the cubs. How could we forget? Mama and Papa give the cubs a good night kisses, turn off the light, they go to sleep. That's the end of the story. That's the end. So what are the flaps? We see Mama and Papa putting the cubs to bed. We lift up Sister Bear's pillow. We see her teddy. All right. I think that's it. I think the last flap is, whoops, fingers in the way. My last flap was Sister Bear's teddy, and then the book is over. That's it. The Berenstain Bears Get Ready for Bed, everyone. I think Mike just wanted to draw more space grizzlies and fairy tale. I think that's it. So that's the Berenstain Bears Lift the Flap. Pretty good Lift the Flap. Pretty good Lift the Flap book. I don't really have anything else to add to it. The illustrations are nice. It did its job. It was a Lift the Flap. Nothing was really surprising in it. Like, you could kind of guess what's going to be behind the flaps because it like told you right off the bat. Yeah, that's it. If you want to look behind me, though, there's, if you're watching this at home, you could see there's my bookshelves. I got a lot of horror and fantasy behind me on the shelf, if you can see. I've got, it's pretty much just all horror, mostly horror and fantasy. I got some of my Playmobiles. Got Sting from the Lord of the Rings up there. I've got some holiday gnomes. You want to see I got a haircut the other day. They did a really good job on the back of my head. If you want to see that, if you're watching along at home, you can see the back of my head right now, my neck. They did a really nice job shaping the back of my hair. I'm actually really pleased with the job she did. This is what I see when I'm recording an episode of my show. It's like you're in Phil's head. So don't you wish you were watching this on YouTube right now? Because you could be seeing what I see. I'm giving you a little peek behind the curtain. What if I closed? Oh, we're doing that recursive thing. Recursion is recursive. There we go. Woo! Recursion is recursive. We do love it. We love it when it happens. I'm going to switch away from this view now because it's giving me a headache. So that's the Berenstain Bears Get Ready for Bed. I don't really have anything else to say about it. It's a pretty fun book. If you like lifting flaps, what can I tell you? You're going to like this book. It's exciting, I guess, to lift those flaps. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for listening. I'm sorry this episode was late if you're listening to this the week of. There's just a lot going on. I'm not a good person at scheduling and figuring things out ahead of time. So listen to my other shows. It's Del Toro Time, which I do with Willow, Pizza Toast, which I do with Christy. We have a good time. We're all good friends. We love each other. It's great. Thank you so much for joining me, though. Thank you so much. If you're a member of my family, I love you. If you're not a member of my family and I don't know you, I hope nothing bad happens to you. That's good. I hope if you're a good person that good things come your way. Is that good? That's a good wish. Otherwise, I'll see you all next time deep in Bear Country.